There's a reason there's a picture of a person in a basketball arena and never give up. Never give up is one of the most important things that you can remember in terms of this business acquisition journey that you're on. Now, there are some things that aren't working. Those things are time to give up on and try something different. But the process, the goal, is not something you should give up on. And way back when, in World War II, as London was being bombed, Churchill famously gave a speech, "Never give up, never give in." Served him pretty well. But I want to give you some examples of that and why I chose the basketball. Is that UConn has been a tremendously successful college basketball team. They were up against Duke in the Elite Eight, going to March Madness, as this process called, eventually to get to the national championship. And they were not favored to win. They were down by as many as 19 points as the second half started. I think they had made 1 of 18 baskets. I mean, incredibly terrible. But they clawed their way back to be within just a few points. They then, with 10 seconds left, they were down by 3 points. They ended up getting the ball in a turnover, which shouldn't have happened. The Duke shouldn't have passed the ball, but they did. Sometimes you get lucky, and ended up going to a freshman. He thought, since he hadn't made a 3-point, that he would give it to another player on the UConn team. He did that. The player that he gave it to looked at the circumstances and said, "No, he's in a better shot." He shot the ball back to him, and with 3 seconds left, almost from half court, he was still on the logo, not quite half court. He throws up a 3-point swish, nothing but net, and he ends up with, I think it was 0.3 seconds. They changed it to 0.4 seconds, putting him in the lead by 1 point. Unbelievable comeback. Unbelievable. Even though the commentators at halftime were saying there's no way that UConn is coming back. Now they've continued on. They ended up beating Illinois Saturday night, and then Monday night is the championship game. As I record this, Monday hasn't happened yet. So I don't know what the outcome of that is. But UConn also beat Illinois. So great example of you're never out of the fight. Things will happen. I've famously talked about Gabriel, who is my business partner. I've mentored him since August of 2019. He had 14 LOIs blow up during COVID. Most people would have quit. He didn't. And last week, he sent me an email that we had done a refi of 190 million US dollars equivalent, and that will give us some pretty good hunting power to go forward on the deals that we're working. But imagine if after 14 LOIs that blew up, he just said, "No, not for me. I put so much work into this, didn't happen, I'm going to move on." Thankfully for him and for me, to some extent, it's going to pay off for him. That I'm convinced of. The success he has, the 68 locations, just need to run them right now and then do an exit. So think about that. Think about what you've accomplished. You may be in some times now when things aren't working as well as you would want them to work, but make the changes. If you don't know what to do, grab that Acquisition Advantage Bootcamp. I've almost published the 2026 updates to the 2025. Most of 2025 is still applicable, but there have been some pretty important changes, and hence the 2026. But remember, never quit. If this is important to you, and this is why your why is so important, you don't care how important or how tough this is. And if you look at any elite activity, and I'd say this is one, that whether that's in special forces military, that's in professional sports, very few people stick it out. And the ones that do typically say, if you can't deal with the failure, you're not going to be successful. You will learn more from those failures. You will hone your game. You will toughen up, all those things. So I hope that helps. I hope that if you don't know what to do, you go over to brucewhipple.com, grab the Acquisition Advantage Bootcamp. It'll be the 2025 edition. You will get the edition of the 2026 updates with that, so don't worry about that. There's nothing you have to buy to get those updates. But not quitting is a major piece of this, coupled with action and knowing what that action should be. So hope that helps. And it's a tough one for me Monday night because I was in Michigan for 13 years and I was in Connecticut for a long time. So either one of those is okay by me, but two great teams certainly. Okay, keep pushing.